In their quest for 3 consecutive Super Bowls, the Kansas City Chiefs have in season handled questions for, well, wide receiver, which was a glaring weakness as the attrition of the roster just kind of whittled the position away, as well as edge rusher, which is something that a team can never have too much of, especially when you have a couple injuries there as well, going back to B.J. Thompson in the preseason, and notably recently, Mike Dana, and notably not recently, last season, Charles Omenihu, still hopefully coming back from that injury, but the Chiefs have addressed 2 needs already this season prior to the trade deadline, and there are 2 more needs on this roster, namely cornerback, after, well, you guessed it, injuries, and offensive tackle after poor development. I guess we can't write that one off on injuries, but I put together a list of 7 guys that are available, presumably, hypothetically, ostensibly, at the cornerback position, at least according to mainstream media articles, for whatever those can be trusted. And I wanted to go through those guys now just to have sort of a layout of the field. Although, knowing Brett Veach, I mean, DeAndre Hopkins is really the only obvious player I can remember off the top of my head that Brett Veach has acquired. If there's a different name than that that really sort of sticks out, I mean, even the Hollywood Brown acquisition wasn't probably the preeminent name as far as the wide receivers on the free agent market list go, but the number one guy that I have here, and these are in no particular order, this is just a hodgepodge of the names, Brandon Echols, a cornerback from the Jets. The Jets at some point have to decide whether or not they're just going to mortgage the future and or mortgage the season for the future, pardon me. And if I were the Jets, I would not be above trading Aaron Rodgers. Right? Trade Aaron Rodgers to one of these teams that is sort of on the brink of competing but doesn't have a quarterback. See what you can get in return for that piece. But Brandon Echols goes 5'10", 179 pounds. He is 27 years old. Now, for a prospect that's 27, 28, 33, as we will get to later in this video, the sort of combine numbers maybe aren't worth as much as once they were, but it's still a pretty good way to gauge what type of an athlete this is. 4.36 40-yard dash, 1.46 10-yard split, 42.5-inch vertical, an 11-foot-4-inch broad jump, and 13 reps on the bench press. Those are all really good numbers with exception of the 13 reps on the bench press. However, when you take into account those 13 reps on the bench press are done with 225 pounds, Brandon Echols weighs just 179 pounds. Well, maybe there's something to be made of that competitive spirit. On the season, he has already 2 interceptions. He has allowed a 56.3% completion percentage. He has given up an 80.2 rating when targeted, 178 snaps on the season he's played. Now, looking at his career, he played a career-high 760 snaps as a rookie, then 69, nice, his next season, then 143, and now 178 so far this season. So apart from being on the Joshua Williams career trajectory as far as snap counts are concerned, he started 14 games as a rookie, and then in the next 3 seasons, he has started just 3, or 2.5, I guess we're halfway through this season, 3 starts over the next 2.5 seasons. You're looking at someone here who is, I don't know if this is a player that is appreciably better than what it is that you have on the roster. I think Najee Johnson, when he comes back, is this level of athlete. He does not have this level of experience, but if he is already in your scheme and he's up to speed, then I think that you've got someone who is able to, look, the 56.3 completion percentage that he's allowed, the 80.2 rating when targeted, and the 2 interceptions. Those are good stats, in addition to being a good athlete. He's a little bit undersized. He's very underweight. I just don't know that if you're going to move assets, this would be the player that you would move them for, unless what you're doing is similar to what you did for Uche, and it's basically nothing for you. The next one is an interesting name that I had not seen thrown around, and I have to be very honest with you, makes me feel super old because I had no idea he had been in the league for as long as he has. I thought in the back of my mind, this is his second season, not his third, or his rookie season, not his third. But J.C. Horn from the Panthers, there are trade talks surrounding him. 6'1", 200 pounds, 24 years old, has 33-inch arms. That is a doozy. Ran a 4.40 40-yard dash. Not great, but I mean, a good number, a really good number. Not the sub 4.4 guys, right? But a 1.55 10-yard split. 41.5-inch vertical, 11-foot 1-inch broad jump, very explosive numbers there. 19 reps on the bench press. This is a guy who is yoked out and wants to compete. This season, he has 1 interception, a 44.7% completion percentage allowed, a 91.9 rating when targeted, and he has played 540 snaps. Now, J.C. Horn can be an absolute stud. The issue is he had a career high of 812 snaps in 2022, which was his second season. So I guess he's in his fourth season, right? He played 142 snaps as a rookie. So he went from 142 as a rookie because of some injury stuff, I believe, all the way up to 812. Then he played just 276 in 2023. He has never played a full season of NFL football. He played 3 games as a rookie. He played 13 games in 2022 and 6 games in 2023, and now obviously 8 games so far this season. The issue here obviously is missing time. It would be such a shame for the Kansas City Chiefs to trade for an asset because of injuries, only for said asset to end up being injured. That seems to be, however, the way things are going for this team this season. I don't know what you would have to give up to get J.C. Horn. I am imagining that it would be something pretty good. I don't know if that is the kind of market that Brett Veach finds himself in, especially for someone who is, he's young, 24. He's got some experience, but he has a history of missing games. So I don't know if that is exactly what Brett Veach would target. Greg Newsome II, 6 foot tall, 192 pounds, 24 years old, 4.38 40-yard dash, 1.5 10-yard split, a 40-inch vertical, a 10-foot 3-inch broad jump, and 18 reps. This season, he has not gotten any interceptions, but he has allowed a 61.0% completion, a 116.0 rating when targeted, and he has played 404 snaps. Now, he played 691 snaps in 2021, 907 snaps in 2022, 774 snaps in 2023, and 404 snaps so far this season. He has never allowed a completion percentage higher than 62.9%. If you were looking for this race to be handicapped, I think that Greg Newsome might be in this race some type of prohibitive favorite depending on the asking price. This is a guy who does have all of the physical tools and is an aggressive corner who is able to play a lot of snaps for your football team. The 0 interceptions I don't really care about. We didn't see L'Jarius Sneed or Trent McDuffie with a whole lot of interceptions, now did we? I think that the limiting of the opportunities for your cornerbacks is a bigger tell on their skill than whether or not they have interceptions. Greg Newsome, depending on the asking price, I don't think you're getting him as cheap as Uche. I don't think he's going to cost you as much as J.C. Horn. It's just a weird trade market this season, and I'm not sure what this kind of guy is going to go for. But I do think that this would be a very intriguing player for Brett Veach. You're also looking at someone who's only 24 years old. You're looking at that sub 4.4 40-yard dash. You're looking at a 40-plus inch vertical right at the 40-inch mark. Those seem to be numbers that Brett Veach values. You're also looking at someone who is over 6 feet tall. You're looking at someone who's over 190 pounds. I think that this kind of looks like the whole package as far as what it is that Brett Veach likes in a cornerback. Then Denzel Ward from the Browns. So what are the Browns going to do after this trade deadline? They'll be calling up your buddy Scrambling Armchair to play some corner. Denzel Ward is 5'11", 190 pounds, 27 years old, ran a 4.32 40-yard dash with a 1.47 10-yard split, 39-inch vertical, 11-foot 4-inch broad jump, and 16 reps on the bench press. This season he has zero interceptions, has allowed 41% completion percentage. That is really good. 72.3% or rating when targeted, and has played 327 snaps of defense so far this season. He has 85 starts in his career. He has a career low of 622 snaps. I repeat that. He has a career low of 622 snaps. However, that was from last season, and he has never started a full season. So it seems that if he's healthy enough to go, he goes the whole game, but he does miss time. He has had 2 or 3 interceptions in all 6 of his seasons besides this one, and we're only about halfway into this season. So this is another guy. Now, I don't know what it is about my time frames. It seems like Denzel Ward has been in the NFL for 23 seasons now. He's Darryl Green, as far as I can tell. But this is an interesting corner, someone who does have a whole lot of athletic traits. He's not 6 feet tall, but he's right around there. 27 years old. That might drive the asking price down just a little bit. It depends on what's going on with these two guys from the Browns. It would be interesting. It would be interesting to know what the asking prices were for these players, or if they are even up on the trade block in general. Number 5 here, I think maybe has one of the lower possibilities, although he's a player that I really like. Jonathan Jones from the Patriots, 5'9", 185 pounds. He's 31 years old. He had ran a 4.33 40-yard dash with a 1.47 10-yard split, 36-inch vertical, 10-foot 3-inch broad jump, 19 reps on the bench press. Very competitive guy. This season, he has 0 interceptions, has allowed a 69.6% completion percentage, and has a 117.3 rating when targeted on his 337 defensive snaps. In 2020, he played 729 snaps. In 2021, he played only 225 snaps. I believe there were injuries involved. 2022, he played 894 snaps, and last season he played 730 snaps. He has 4,552 career snaps. This is a guy who can play a lot of meaningful football for you. He is over 30 years old. What that matters if you're trading for a single season, I'm not sure. He is somebody who he has Bill Belichick coaching in his past. So you're looking at a guy, the guy's stuck around the league forever now. Very impressive that way. I don't know that you're still looking at a smaller guy, but you're looking at a guy who can eat a lot of snaps. I don't know comparatively what it is that you would be looking for in Jonathan Jones versus guys you already have on your roster. Marshon Lattimore from the Saints, 6 feet tall, 192 pounds, 28 years old. Here's the thing. He is a first-round pick from 2017, and Brett Veach loves that. He has collected, over his time, about half of the guys, it seems, that were drafted in that first round of 2017. I didn't remember that Marshon Lattimore had a 4.36 40 and a 1.49 10-yard split. 38.5-inch vertical, 11-foot broad jump, good numbers there, great numbers on the 40 and the 10. This season, he has 0 interceptions, not tried all that much because he allows just 55% completion, and he has a 71.2 rating when targeted. He has played this season 412 snaps. Marshon Lattimore has 5,794 career snaps. He has 97 games and 97 starts. If he is available, he starts that game. Played in every game one time in the last 6 seasons, and he's played in every game only twice in his entire career. That's not promising. However, he is a bona fide star at the position. The big question here is asking price, and the rumor is there is a bidding war for Marshon Lattimore's services. So I don't know if... So this is the premier name, right? A Beautiful Mind, starring Russell Crowe. Something Nash, right? Something Nash was the character he was playing in that movie. Or Nash something. Anyway, the idea was his big revelation in that movie was he's out at the pool hall with all of his nerd friends, and a blonde bombshell walks in, and she's got a brunette to her right and a redhead to her left. Beautiful women. And not Tom Nash. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Tom Nash is a YouTuber. It doesn't matter. The big revelation was none of them should go for the blonde, because if they go for the blonde, they'll all go for the blonde, and the other 2 women will be insulted and won't have anything to do with them. So then the blonde, being the bombshell blonde, obviously doesn't want any of the nerd friends. All of a sudden, everyone goes home alone. This is the strategy. This is the reason I'm telling this story. The strategy with Marshon Lattimore, as far as I'm concerned. If I were the Chiefs, that would be the strategy for Marshon Lattimore. Maybe inquire, understand what kind of interest there is, and throw some ideas out there. Maybe we'd be willing to give you an XYZ, push the price up. Meanwhile, you are trying to get one of these other corners. I just don't see this. I just don't see this move happening. I imagine this is going to be for more than the Kansas City Chiefs want to part ways with. And the final name that I have on this is Darius Slay. 6 foot tall, 190 pounds, 33 years old. 32.25-inch arms, 4.36 40-yard dash, 1.54 10-yard split, a 35.5-inch vertical, 10-foot 4-inch broad jump, 14 reps on the bench press. Overall, a slightly above average athlete for the position outside of that 40, maybe outside of the arm length as well. This season, he has 0 interceptions, 63.0% completions, a 105.6 rating when targeted, and he has played 361 snaps. He has 9,883 snaps on his career. He should pass 10,000 career snaps this season if he stays healthy. Of all of these guys, this is the one that kind of most reminds me of L'Jarius Sneed and L'Jarius Sneed's playing style. So if you were going for that sort of routine that you had last year, where you have someone complimenting McDuffie, who is maybe a little bit more sturdy, maybe a little bit bigger, the good cop, bad cop routine, right? This might be the way you go. I don't know what they're going to want for Darius Slay. I believe you would have to have the Eagles eat quite a bit of contract, and as the Eagles are competing for ostensibly the Super Bowl, I don't know how much they would want to do that. I don't know I do not know that the Eagles would really be willing to play the game of the Kansas City Chiefs, right? One thing that Brett Veach is very good at doing is getting you to play his game if you were an opposing general manager. Look, you want to get rid of the asset as well. You want a draft pick as well. If this is what you're getting offered and no one else is coming to the table, then this is what you're getting offered and no one else is coming to the table. A final note here, it would be an absolute shame for the Kansas City Chiefs to have to pull this trigger and trade for a cornerback because they have pumped so many assets into the defensive backfield. I'm not sure this move gets made. I think that what we end up seeing is a little bit more rotation with Chamarri Conner on the field in a cornerback role, maybe in the nickel spot, wherever it ends up being, if he can play on the outside, if they can. So what I think might end up happening, you saw with those dynastic Patriots, a whole lot of mixing and matching, right? You had Troy Brown playing cornerback for several games, right? All of these things, and they did it out of necessity because they won so much that they were pushed so far down in the draft ranks that at some point when injuries pile up, you just have to put athletes on the field. I think now what that ended up doing, it was kind of hard to throw the ball against Troy Brown in certain looks. If he knew where to be and he was in the right spot, you knew he could catch the football. I think what might end up happening here with the Kansas City Chiefs is that they are going to be forced into a corner with ironically, forced into a corner as far as what it means to be playing corner for this defense. You might see different players out there like Chamarri Conner, etc. You might see them more often than you would think. Now, maybe Chamarri Conner has a bit of a change of direction deficit for some of these wide receivers because he's kind of a slot / safety kind of guy. He's not Jalen Watson, for example. I don't think the fluidity is there for Chamarri Conner like it is for Jalen Watson. But what it means is, if it's zone, and I've got Chamarri Conner out there not on an island, but I've got Chamarri Conner out there as the corner, and you try to run that ball to his side, oh, baby, it's a whole different ball game, right? So it might be that they are forced into such a strange and exotic mix of players on the field out of necessity that certain aspects of their defense become more difficult with which to contend. So I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to seeing how it is that the Chiefs mix things up. We've had consecutive games where corners have gone down, and it's going to start being a whole different ball game at that position. Joshua Williams should be able to play corner. Joshua Williams was a decent corner his first couple years in the league. What has happened to Joshua Williams? But anyway, guys, I think that this is what I have for this video. If you like or appreciate what it is that I do here, hitting a like button really does help me out, as it tells YouTube to share this video with other Kansas City Chiefs fans. If you find yourself here by chance but not design, the Chiefs are the only thing I talk about on this channel, dropping multiple videos every single week, and I hope to have you back for the next one.